Well, today we have one big chapter in front of us where we are going to make our program to be a little bit more advanced. Before we continue, I strongly recommend you to select everything, go here, create new file, and let's call this functions3.py, and let's paste simply everything from functions2, and let's remove this what we entered here in the last video where we work with lists and sets. So we don't need this anymore, or pre-built Python functions. So I want you to follow this very carefully, and I will do my best to explain in detail everything what I'm going to do, because this part of Python is a little bit more complex than other parts in that syntax. At the beginning of this video, we will define what will be our goal. If you look on our code like it's built right now, you can see that so far our program can convert meters to centimeters. Now we will give user more options when he will make input. So that means when we run this input function, user will have more option to enter to get desired result as a return. And that means we will allow user, for example, to request conversion of some amount of meters, not only to centimeters. Let's say we will allow him to do it in decimeters or millimeters. So that means we will extend numbers of units to convert meter to. From the side of coding, that means that we need to change our current input, because at this moment we are accepting list from user to receive multiple entrants and provide multiple result at once. And not means only in functionality. First, we will tell him here in input, in that prompt for what he will get, which size in meters you want to convert and in which unit you want to convert it. So that means now if you run this program, user will get this input, which size in meter you want to convert and in which unit you want to convert it. So that means he need to provide us some return, and that return should be written like 10 colon centimeter, or 10 colon decimeter or millimeter or something like that. So far it won't work, right? But we will short these names of units, and we will use these short symbols for centimeter, decimeter or millimeters, not because it's some kind of rule, it's more practical to do like this. Point is that we need to receive from user colon separated both values, like I did here, like example. This is something what we need to convert our application to work like this. So now our next step is to this split function what we have. This split function. Change this comma to colon, like this. Because with comma we receive list so far. And you will shortly see what I mean. As there is no list anymore, we actually don't need this loop because we want to run anything through the loop. We will remove simply this for loop, and we will now say that Python print us provided number. And now when we rerun this application, we will, for example, say 2 millimeter and press enter. And you see right now we get here list. We printed list. Now we need to convert this list. Our next step is to convert this list into dictionary. And dictionary is another data type in Python, which we will cover in this video. So before we continue, let's define first how dictionary works. We write dictionary code same like sets. That means we will use curly braces. And in our particular case, it will be something like, let's say, meters, colon 10, comma, unit, colon, centimeter. And this, how I write this dictionary, is actually syntax how we make it. Also, dictionary is collection which does not allow duplicated values, which of course you can conclude with curly braces around content inside. Now it's time to show what we learned so far about how to use lists and apply that knowledge to our code. First, let's store this in some kind of variable, and this variable let's call like provided number dictionary. And what we need to do now, we need to grab, instead of this entered value, something what we will receive here from user input. And what we'll just learn in previous videos is how we can take and manipulate with content which we store in lists. So that means if our list is stored in a variable called provided number, we will copy it and we will simply paste it here and say we need entered index 0 for first value, right? And here enter index, which index? 1, of course. Because if user make 2 entrance, then we need 2 entrance from 2 different indexed position. So if we run our application right now, we print it. And let me also move this in alignment. What we will get, let's say 10 centimeter. We will get first printed what we get in list, and then we get like we requested, meters 10, unit centimeter. And we are able to do this with our previous knowledge about manipulating items from existing lists. And that's why we put focus in dedicated video about lists, that we can in continue of our learning process use what we learned, and that we can build and make our programs a little bit more sophisticated. Well, like you see, we have this prompt here again, and I enter first time number of meters and desired unit. So that means with one simple step I solve this problem of different units. So that means I want, for example, 5 decimeter, and I will get that this time is in list 5 and dm, and in my dictionary is or number of meters 5 and a chosen unit is decimeter. Same thing what I can do is to define this for millimeter. So depending of this what we receive from user, our next step is to integrate our validator function here, and this what we have, what we will have and what we will receive from user, and this is different units to make different conversions. So that means if user enter 10 meters, it won't be same result if we choose centimeter, decimeter or millimeter. So that means this math calculations, what we learned at very beginning of this tutorial, we will also need to apply. As you can see right now, we have our variable which we convert in integer here in our validator function, and it's highlighted with a red line under. So that means this variable does not works anymore because we change what we are converting. Instead of number of meters collection, we will place this brand new builded provided number dictionary variable, and after that everything will be just fine, like you see. But I hope you notice something, and that is that because in dictionary we enter 2 values, one of them is integer and another one is string. Like this, we will convert both to string, to integer actually. So if we keep things like this, that will mean that everything what will be entered in our dictionary will be converted to integer. And this is something what we don't want. So to avoid this error and to make it to work like it should work, we need to access inside of our dictionary exactly to position we want to convert to be integer, of course. And the way how we will do that, it's very similar like in list. But instead of writing number of index in square brackets, we will simply type name of key value, which in our case will be, what do you think? Meters. So this is something what we want to convert right now. We want to convert number of meters. And to access it, we will simply in square brackets put name of key value. To show you exactly what I mean, let me create one new dictionary. The dict, and inside, let's say I will put meters colon 10 comma unit colon millimeter, but need to be under quotation also. And now when I print my dictionary and I want to pull out something what's on position 1, I will put here meters under quotation, of course. And when I run this right now, what I will get? I will get 10 because I request first thing with unit key name, unit call meter. And that's the way how it works. And this is exactly what we did here. Okay, so right now our next step is to provide both entered value to our meter to centimeter function, which actually won't be meter to centimeter anymore, but we name it like this at the beginning of this tutorial, so now let's keep it like that. So if you take a look on the code right now, what do you think where we will provide this second value? So first step in our validator is that what user input we convert to be integer. And then in this if else, we use this unit conversion where we put this user input value. So this is user input value, which we put in this function meter to centimeter with what we get from user. So we need also part related to unit. So we will put comma, we will put comma, we will use provided number dictionary, copy it and place here. Of course not. We will change this to be what? Unit. Did we write unit? Unit. So it's second value what we get when we enter something in our input field. Okay. And now what we're missing is our final calculation. You see this in main function, we still receive just one thing inside. And we hard-coded here that conversion when it's calculated here will be something what will be multiplied with hard-coded values. And this is something what we don't want because we will have more than one value right now. And we want to calculate all this from user input with additional if else what we will make in number meter to centimeter function. So here we will add something what will be called, let's say, name of unit. This is another variable which we will use right now in the rest of our code. So we will say here, if name of unit is equal to centimeter, then we need to make indentation. Then we need to make this calculation that enter number of meters are number of meters multiply with 100. And this we can also hard code to be centimeters. Is this clear? Let's do another statement. Else if when name of unit, but of course you see red flag here, so we need colon. If conversion of unit is equal to decimeter, then we want our function to return something what we will right now calculate like this. So enter number of meters, our number of meter, divide with 0.1 of decimeters. And another if when name of unit is equal to millimeter, we want our function to return that number of meters, our number of meters, multiply with 1000, right? Millimeters. And if user enters something what it's very different from everything what's possible for him, we will tell him in that case else simply return, sorry, you entered something wrong. Try again. And now when we're going to run this function and we enter, for example, 1 and we want to be converted to centimeter, we don't get any result. And that's probably because we didn't, of course, run our validator function. Yeah, so let's rerun it. Now when we put 1 and want to convert it to centimeter, 1 meters are 100 centimeter. When we put 3 decimeter, we get 3 meters are 30 decimeters. And when we put 5 and millimeters, 5 meters are 5000 millimeters. Okay, typo, forget it. And we put 4 blah. Sorry, you enter something wrong. Try again. Before we continue, let's little bit analyze what the heck we just did. So let me use my pointer and let's explain step by step. First, we created one variable which is called provided number dictionary. And what we did with this variable, we make it to receive dictionary with 2 key units. One is meters, which provide from the list first item, and this list is provided number, which we make to receive items separated, splitted with colon. And then in our dictionary we receive second key unit, which receive second value from the list. And we also make something else. We make change in our input function where we tell user clearly which size in meters you want to convert and in which unit you want to convert it. So this means user need to provide us 2 values. First value is the number of meters and second value is chosen unit in which he want to convert given value of meters. So I hope this is clear. So after that we receive that in splitted way in some list, and then we convert that list to be dictionary. And this is something what we print here, that we see that it's exactly like I say, and like you see here when he enter, okay, this is an error result, but with millimeters, when he enter 5 meter to convert in millimeters, we first receive list, which split with colon entrance. So that means when user enter with colon, it split 5 and millimeter, and then we convert it to our dictionary and insert 5 here and millimeter here, and God help you to see what I just marked. But I hope you understand. So one more time, this is user input, which save and store data to list, and enter input actually from user is required separated with colon, and user make that input separated with colon. Then we store given values separated in our list, and later we convert that list to be dictionary. And this is what we get when we print dictionary. Okay, so I hope this part so far is clear. In our validator, we didn't have much job, except we need to make two changes. When we create this new dictionary, this variable called provided number dictionary, we need to put in user input value first unit to be converted to integer, and we call something from dictionary naming key value. In this case it's meters, because in dictionary first key value is called meters. So what it's provided first, we won't use in square brackets index 0 like in list. We will simply use key name and call that value. So we store that also in variable called user input value. And then in this if else, we have unit conversion variable, where we start our function meter to centimeter, so this function, where we place inside that function user input value. This is that first part which is related to meter, and provided number dictionary, it's chosen unit. This is second part from provided number dictionary. Unit is second part of parameters what we send back to our function. And then we go to function and we do what we did. We say that meter to centimeter have now two parameters. First is number of meters, and we know what it's number of meters. It's first value from dictionary, and name of unit is second value of dictionary. And this is something what you don't need to worry, because this is how we defined our function to work. But how we receive input from user, we define in this validator, because in the end we run validator. And that means that this unit conversion variable, we simply store as input from parameters what are given to our function here. I know this maybe sound confusing right now, but if you insert some number, some value, or some variable with store number in function, is absolutely the same. But here we just make some math operation what we will automatically insert here. And I hope this is clear now, because from this function and calculation in these functions, we make validation with these parameters inside, which we replace later with our calculator, how we want to check, insert, convert, insert, whatever, during this validator second function. And this is 100% possible just because these parameters here can be like they are here written as they are, and also can be called through different variables when we simply store some values inside. So one way or another, is this parameter in function call here 1 or call here meter, or called number of meters and then called number of unit, and this value is entered later, it really doesn't matter. If this function will work, and to make this function to work, this function, like it's built here, need to receive two values, two parameters. One is integer, second one is definition of unit. And then we here define what will be name of unit, this name of unit, how it should be written. And we make one if else where we write if name of unit is provided through input to be centimeter, cm, then return this. If this name of unit, this second parameter, is provided to be written as dm, like decimeter, then provide back this. And if this name of unit is provided to be millimeter, then return this. And if it's through input provided anything else, simply return this. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this syntax can be a little bit confusing, but like at the end of each video I make, I will repeat the same thing. If you don't understand right now what we did, what we make, what we write, and what we exactly build in this application, watch it again. If you don't understand lists, go back to a video where we talk about lists. If you don't understand something else, go back and repeat as many times as it's necessary that you can clearly say, okay, now I understand this. Because learning Python is not short overnight process. It really requires a lot of hard work and a lot of exercise that you start to accept and understand things by yourself. And I always speak to my students, don't be sure if you watch video and you sit on your code editor that you will be able to repeat even 5% of code you just saw. You need to make notes, you need to repeat, you need to follow exactly what I'm showing you and then try to repeat it step by step. Cheat, watch, copy paste, but do it over and over and over again until you start to understand clearly what you are doing. That moment when you start to make code, understanding what you're writing, not repeating, in that moment you can say, okay, now I'm at the level that I finally really understand what I just did. So far everything else will be fake. So I'm telling you one more time, repeat, 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 until moment you start to make code in the way to understand exactly what you are doing. In next video we will talk a little bit more about dictionaries and then we keep moving with our learning process. So guys, don't waste time and see you next video.